Johnny Brzenk was really hot at the time, and they consider him the greatest of all time. I was playing with Johnny. I mean, he was easy for me, and
John has said many times that his best arm wrestling version was in his early 20s. But there was this one arm wrestler that John was not able to beat. No, it wasn't the 500-pound Cleve Dean, it wasn't the Leviathan Richard Lupkis either. John beat both of them. It was the American professional arm wrestler and former world arm wrestling champion Scott Norton. I was scrolling through the arm wrestling discussion group on Facebook and I found this post. This guy can definitely beat Levan. He's 7'3" and 550 pounds. And interestingly, Scott Norton replied to that comment. I wrestled Kali back in the late 90s. He was huge, but nothing special about his strength. Levan would destroy him. Well, obviously that's true, and we are going to discuss about the potential of Great Kali in arm wrestling if he ever tried to go that way. We'll discuss that towards the later part of this video. But let's read this post further. Someone asked Scott if John or Goodrich ever beat him, and Scott replied, never. I was 3-0 against Johnny being John Brzenk, and Goodrich wasn't even a threat. Now that's a clear statement that Scott Norton was a really high level arm wrestler. We have heard John say that many times that he was never able to beat Scott. So who is Scott Norton? If we go to his Wikipedia page, he was billed as 6'3". So let's say realistically speaking, he was 6'2" and 360 pounds. So maybe he was around 330 because WWE overinflate the stats of the wrestlers. So let's say he was 6'2" and probably 330 pounds. So he was a big guy. And Scott said that when he was preparing to beat Cleve Dean in the Over the Top tournament, which he won by the way, we only talk about John's Truckers division victory. But that day, Scott Norton also won. He won the overall super heavyweight category. At that time, he said he got so strong that he was easily able to hammer curl a 150-pound dumbbell, and he didn't even feel John Brzenk.
for 2 years, and when I came back, Johnny Brzenk was really hot at the time, and he's continued to be hot through the 80s, 90s, 2000s until now. Just recently he retired, and they consider him the greatest of all time. I was playing with Johnny. I mean, he was easy for me, and I'm not trying to disrespect this man because he's the best. He deserves what they're considering him as being the greatest of all time. But nobody beat Cleve yet, and I just completely obliterated that son of a gun. It was just awesome, But
John was easy for me. That's what he said. Norton started out as a professional arm wrestler. He won over 30 championships during his days as an arm wrestler, including 4 US national championships, and gained the nickname Flash due to his quickness in winning matches. If you guys remember correctly, there was one time when Big Show claimed that he has never lost in an arm wrestling match, and he defeated Scott Norton as well. How much truth there is behind this statement, we will never know. But nobody seemed to believe it. Devon Larratt made a response video to that and he called out the Big Show. Devon said that he will smoke the Big Show any day of the week. There was one moment on this Hannibal TV channel where Devon said that he wants to have a super match against Scott Norton as well. And Scott wasn't happy about that. He got kind of pissed off after hearing Devon's challenge. And let's talk about the Great Kali post. So first of all, he's not 7'3", 550. Realistically speaking, at his peak, I would say he could have been around 7'1" and maybe close to 400 pounds. But that is a guy who is lean at 400 pounds without legs. I'm quite sure we have never seen an arm wrestler like that who has no legs, who is lean and weighs almost 400 pounds. And if we watch Great Kali's fake arm wrestling match against Triple H, he got that natural cupping and top roll going on. So a 7'1" guy top rolling who has massive ripped forearms, that may not be a good day for any arm wrestler if he trained for arm wrestling. Now, I'm an Indian, so I may definitely be biased in this one, but I genuinely believe if he really trained for arm wrestling, the Great Kali could have been really good. And Scott Norton said he faced Kali in late 90s, but Scott must have wrestled a 300-pound version of Great Kali who was jumping over the ropes and doing athletic shit. He didn't face this 400-pound version of Great Kali. So that was it for this video. Once again, a reminder, I got 2 questions for you. How good Scott Norton would have been in today's world, and how good Great Kali could have been when he was around his peak shape 2006-2007 if he really trained for arm wrestling. Thanks for watching, like the video and subscribe.